march has come to an end. But let's make sure that this end is also a beginning. The beginning of a new and powerful movement for animal liberation. I have been an animal rights activist for 12 years. And in my 12 years, I have never been as optimistic as I am today. And the reason for my optimism is all of you here today, and the thousands of activists rallying in cities all over the world on this day. Your determination, your strength, and most importantly, your dream. The dream of animal liberation has not always been an easy one for me. There was a time when I was broken as an activist, drowned in despair and doubt. It happened when I looked into the eyes of a little lamb in a slaughterhouse. I snuck into the facility, and I didn't have any plan. I just wanted to see with my own 2 eyes what was happening. What was happening behind these closed doors. When I entered the facility, all the lambs cowered in fear. They had never known a warm voice or a kind touch in their entire lives. But there was one little lamb, just one little lamb, who looked up at me with her bright, beautiful eyes. She took a step forward. Mankind had taken everything from her. They had taken her family, they had taken her home, they had taken her freedom, and they were going to take her life. And yet this little lamb, she still had a dream. She dreamed that something or someone would come and rescue her, would take her home and set her free. Now I'm ashamed to admit today that I did not have the courage to make that dream come true for that little lamb. I did not have a truck, I did not have a sanctuary, I did not have an escape plan. But the truth is that I just abandoned that little girl. I left her in a dark place, sad and alone, with no friends to take care of her, no mother to care for her. And a few hours later, she was hoisted up, her throat was slit, and her body was turned into meat. In my worst nightmares, I could see how she was feeling in those final moments. I imagined her cries of desperation and pain. I imagined the cries she made for her mother and her family. And worst of all, I imagined the cries she made for me, the man who abandoned her in that dark and scary place. Just thinking about it is almost unimaginable. For weeks afterwards, I could not sleep. I would break down into tears uncontrollably. The entire world seemed pale and bleak. But I will tell you this right now, today. The color is coming back into this world. The animal rights movement is strengthening all over this world. And all of you have picked me up today. And so now, today, I can say to myself, no more tears, no more guilt, no more shame. Because the world is a nightmare for those who are weak and different. It is a nightmare, but that just makes the work that we are doing all the more important. I only had a few moments with that little lamb in a slaughterhouse. I never learned her family, her story, her name, but those few precious moments, I gave her a promise. I promised that she would live on in my memory. She does live on in my nightmares. But she will someday also live in my dream. It is a dream of a better world, where the most gentle and innocent creatures on this planet are no longer tortured and killed because of their meekness. It is a dream of a brighter world, where the darkness of slaughterhouses and factory farms is replaced by the light of shelter and sanctuary. And it is a dream of a kinder world, where a frightened little lamb in a slaughterhouse no longer has to be afraid. There are always nightmares in this world, my friends. There's nothing we can do about that. But there's one thing I want you to remember from this march. It's that we have to always hold on to our dreams. Because change comes much faster than most people think. Because it is the dreamers of this world who bring us that change. And because when the dreamers of this world come together, their greatest dreams come to life. So please, say it with me one more time. We are all Earthlings.
We are all Earthlings.
No longer blind to injustice.
No longer blind to injustice.
United for animal liberation.
United for animal liberation.
You guys want to do a few more chants?
Yes.
What do we want?
Animal liberation.
When do we want